What's up, Commanders fans? Welcome back to Commanders HQ, your #1 source for all things Washington Commanders. Before we jump into today's exclusive story, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're bringing you the best Commanders news, rumors, and analysis all off-season long, and your support helps us grow the community. Now, let's get into it. The Washington Commanders are heading into one of their most exciting off-seasons in years. With a young superstar quarterback in Jayden Daniels, a strong coaching staff led by Dan Quinn, and nearly $78 million in cap space, Washington has a real opportunity to build a championship-caliber roster. And according to recent reports, there's one particular move that could take the Commanders' offense to the next level, bringing in Tampa Bay Buccaneers star wide receiver Chris Godwin. We all know that Terry McLaurin is an elite receiver. He's been the heart and soul of this offense for years, but outside of him, the Commanders have lacked a true #2 receiving threat. Jahan Dotson has shown flashes, Dyami Brown had a breakout playoff performance, but neither has consistently filled that WR2 role. Enter Chris Godwin. Yahoo Sports' John Molnar recently suggested that Godwin could be the perfect fit for Washington. He highlighted Godwin's ability to dominate in the slot, creating a dangerous 1-2 punch with McLaurin. Here's what Molnar had to say. One way to make this team even more deadly would be to add the likes of Tampa Bay Buccaneers WR Chris Godwin, who was having a phenomenal season pre-injury in 2024. Adding him to play the slot alongside Scary. Terry would create a scary duo. He brings a skillful route runner on the inside, who could receive a bunch of targets, while McLaurin takes on 2 defenders. This seems like a match made in heaven for the Commanders. It makes a ton of sense. Jayden Daniels needs reliable targets, and adding a proven veteran like Godwin would provide another elite weapon in the passing game. Now, let's talk logistics. Would this be a free agent signing or a trade? Tampa Bay has made it clear that they want to keep Godwin, but with their cap situation being tight, there's a possibility that he could become available. If that happens, Washington has both the cap space and the draft assets to make a move. Some experts believe that a trade package involving a mid-round pick could be enough to land Godwin, especially if the Buccaneers decide to go in a different direction offensively. If he hits free agency, Washington could sign him outright, though he would likely command a significant contract. The good news? Commanders GM Adam Peters is already setting the stage for an aggressive offseason. At the NFL Scouting Combine, Peters spoke about the team's free agency approach, hinting that they're ready to make serious moves. We have a lot of free agents and a lot of holes to fill on the roster. We have, I think, the second least amount of players on the roster in the league right now, so we'll be busy. We're talking with a lot of those guys. It just depends on what they want to do, and if we can come to an agreement before free agency. Some guys want to hit free agency to see what their market is, and some guys want to get things done right away. The great thing is the culture that Dan Quinn has created. There's a lot of guys that want to come back. That last sentence is crucial. For years, Washington wasn't exactly a premier destination for free agents, but under the new ownership, with a respected head coach in Dan Quinn and a young star at quarterback, things have changed. The Commanders are now seen as a legitimate contender, and that makes signing top-tier talent much easier. While Godwin is a name to watch, Washington has other potential targets on their radar. They could look at Bengals receiver T. Higgins, who is also rumored to be on the move. There's also speculation that they could add another offensive lineman or a pass rusher to bolster the defense. One of the biggest questions is whether Washington will re-sign some of its key free agents. Wide receiver Dyami Brown had a breakout playoff performance and is now ranked as one of the top free agents to re-sign. He caught 14 passes for 229 yards and a touchdown in just 3 playoff games. Could he be the answer at WR2 instead of Godwin? Then there's Jeremy Chinn, the versatile defensive back who played a key role for Washington last season. The team will have to decide whether to bring him back or look elsewhere in free agency. All right, let's get straight to it. The Washington Commanders are making waves at the NFL Scouting Combine. And this time, it's not just about scouting young talent. It's about some tough decisions regarding key players, including one of the leaders of this team, Jonathan Allen. Commanders general manager Adam Peters confirmed that the team has granted Allen's agent permission to explore trade options. Yes, you heard that right. One of the longest tenured commanders and a two-time Pro Bowler could potentially be on his way out. Allen is entering the final year of his 4-year, $72 million contract, and if traded before June 1st, Washington would save $16.3 million in cap space. That's a huge amount of flexibility for a team looking to reload and build for sustained success. When asked about the situation, Peters kept things open-ended. That is true. It's going into the last year of his deal, and his agent, Blake Baratz, he's a great agent, came to us. They wanted to explore their options. Everything is still on the table. That last part is important. Everything is still on the table. The Commanders haven't committed to moving Allen just yet, but they're also not shutting the door on it. Peters added that while they want to do what's best for the team, they also want to do right by Allen. This is a tough situation. Allen has been a cornerstone of Washington's defense since being drafted in the first round back in 2017. He's played 109 games, racked up 42 career sacks, and has been the heart and soul of this defensive front. But at 30 years old, and coming off an injury-shortened season, the Commanders may be looking towards the future. Now, some fans might be wondering, why even consider trading one of your best defensive players? There are a few key reasons. Cap space and roster flexibility. Washington enters free agency with roughly $78 million in cap space, one of the highest figures in the league. Trading Allen would bump that number even higher, allowing them to pursue big-name free agents at positions of need, like a number 2 wide receiver or a top-tier pass rusher. Defensive scheme shift. With Dan Quinn taking over as head coach, the Commanders are expected to shift their defensive scheme. If Quinn and new defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. want to build a faster, more aggressive unit, they might decide that the resources spent on Allen could be better allocated elsewhere. Allen's age and future outlook. As great as Allen has been, he'll be 31 next season, and pass rushers tend to decline as they get older. If the Commanders believe they can get solid trade compensation now, it may make sense to move on before his value drops. If Allen is traded, the return package will be a big storyline. Washington would likely target draft picks or a younger impact player. Some potential trade scenarios include a second-round pick from a contending team. A playoff-caliber squad looking to add an elite interior rusher could be willing to send a high draft pick. A package of mid-round picks. If no single team wants to give up a premium pick, Washington could look for multiple mid-round selections to build depth. A player-for-player swap. If the Commanders are looking to address their needs immediately, they could trade Allen for a starting-caliber wide receiver or an offensive lineman. Potential landing spots for Jonathan Allen if Allen is indeed on. The move, where could he land? Here are a few possible destinations. Detroit Lions. The Lions are one elite defensive piece away from being a true Super Bowl contender. Pairing Allen with Aiden Hutchinson could be lethal. And Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks need a dominant presence on the defensive line, and Allen could be exactly what they're looking for. 3. Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are in win-now mode and could use Allen's leadership and pass-rushing ability to solidify their defense. Chicago Bears. With 2 top 10 draft picks, the Bears are looking to accelerate their rebuild. Allen could be a key piece in turning their defense around. Will the Commanders actually trade Allen? Here's the million-dollar question. Will Washington actually pull the trigger on an Allen trade, or is this just a leverage move? One thing to consider is how Allen feels about all this. He's made it clear in the past that he's tired of losing and wants to be part of a winning culture. With Washington finally on the rise, he might want to stick around. But if the front office isn't willing to give him an extension beyond 2025, he could push for a move. When Adam Peters and his staff will ultimately have to weigh the pros and cons of keeping or trading Allen. The new culture in Washington is about making smart, calculated moves, and this decision will be a major test for the new regime. So, should Washington go all in on Chris Godwin? There's no doubt that he would make this offense significantly better. Pairing him with Terry McLaurin would give Jaden Daniels one of the best receiving duos in the league. The only question is whether the Commanders are willing to pay the price, whether that's in a trade or a big free agent contract. What do you guys think? Should Washington target Chris Godwin, or should they focus on other areas of the roster? Do you trust Adam Peters to make the right moves this offseason? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a Commanders update. We've got a huge offseason ahead, and you won't want to miss a second of it. Thanks for watching, and, as always, hail to the Commanders!